everyone. I am back. How are you doing? I hope everything is going well with you. I hope everything is going well with your family. And I hope you're enjoying the holiday seasons, right? Shout out to everyone who celebrate the holidays, right? And I want to say, Brucey, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. You, sir, you are in my prayers. You know you are in my prayers. I hope everything goes well with you tomorrow. And hi, Miss J. It's good to see you again, Boricua. Shout out to you. Que lo que. Mommy, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Miss Joanne, how are you, darling? It's so good to see you, dear. My sister from Canada, how are you doing, dear? Shout out to you. I hope everything is well with you and your family. Yeah, so guys, I've been MIA. You know what had happened. I had to deal with a family death to the most important girl in the whole world to me, my mom. And I've been away for a bit and I have some time back, so I wanted to give out some content for you good folks. And I know you've been waiting and I truly appreciate it. Just make sure you're hitting the like button for me. It definitely helps the channel. Or hit the down button, whatever floats your boat. It helps the channel. And then share this out to anyone who will be interested in this type of content that we do here. Let's see. Oh, hi, how you doing? Technical Fatima, how are you? How are you? It's good to see you. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. All right. So I do have a couple cases for you. We'll see how it goes because I know it's kind of on the late night tip, but we'll see how it goes. Yes, Brucey. Yes. My mother just recently passed away, so I had to take care of that. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. I truly appreciate you. Thank you. All right. So the first case that I have for you good folks is about a man. So a man films chilling videos before doing the unthinkable. I thought this was interesting and I wanted to review this with you guys because I wanted to understand what type of videos that he actually recorded and what did everything lead to, because it didn't really give that much detail about, unless the guy who was involved was Mr. Motley. So let's see what this has to go, how this play out. Let's see. Yes, it is very painful, but thank you, Miss Joanne. Truly appreciate you. Truly appreciate you. Hey, Problem Child, how you doing? Problem Child? Shout out to you. Always gonna come in and just show your support. So I appreciate it. I know Brucey, I know, but you gotta take care of yourself, okay? You gotta take care of yourself. You got a big day tomorrow, and my prayers with you, sir. Okay, my prayers definitely with you. Let me go ahead and pull up my screen and we can get into it. I hope you see this. Here we go.
He was just racist, just flat out racist.
He posted on Facebook last night, and he came to work all weird.
Boss man makes black jokes every day. My name is Black Jerry.
But I just remember looking up, and I saw Jerry with the gun. He did one of these and pulled the trigger at my dad.
You guys. And I really hope y'all do that.
In Clinton Township, Michigan, an employee films his morning commute to work, ranting about alleged racism, bullying, and mistreatment by his coworkers. The last thing they ever expected was for him to enter the workplace armed with a gun and murder on his mind.
The kid didn't look like he had a care in the world that he just did any of that.
The following is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before until now. On the morning of January 9th, 2018, 25-year-old construction worker Jerry Motley Jr. begins recording on his way to the office.
So, now we're recording. I'm gonna tell you, like I told these motherfuckers, like, they just did, like, outrageous, racist bullshit. It's like time and time I come into work, just racist, just flat out racist. There's no giving. Dude used the word like a million times. Boss man makes black jokes every day. My name is Black Jerry. I'm the lowest paid in the company. Been there for a year. Pretty much bullshit. And I got a best friend that works there too. So it's like, even my best friend sat there and pointed out a branch, like, oh, Jerry, which one you want to be hanging from? Him and Johnny. It's like, y'all like, think like doesn't like click. Like, y'all are ignorant. Y'all just think money is the power of everything. Really, a weapon is the power of everything. I'm just basically saying you guys. And I really hope y'all do that.
Minutes later, Jerry arrives at his workplace. He parks his car and calmly heads toward the front door as he'd likely done every workday for the past year. But this time, tucked into a hoodie pocket underneath his jacket, is a fully loaded pistol.
Lock it. Where's Tom? Shot. I don't know. Look and see. Oh, God, he is.
911, where is your emergency?
I need an ambulance immediately at Reliable Fence. We got an employee that shot people.
Where is the person that shot him?
I don't know. We have 4 rooms back there, and when I'm in a locked room. I need police and I need an ambulance staff.
Okay, where I have everybody coming. Where is the victim?
He's right next to me, and I don't know who else he
is
shot. Who else did he
all right,
shoot?
is he breathing?
Yes, he's breathing.
Okay, where is he shot?
In the chest.
Okay, do we have anything to put on the wound?
He's got his glove against it now.
Okay.
Just stay still. Is that shot?
All right, who's the person?
He shot my brother. I have 2 people shot.
Okay, where's the other?
Brother, he's trying to leave. I need police now.
The dispatcher requests information about the suspect's car, but the woman on the line is unable to answer as someone delivers a crushing confirmation.
You mean my brother's shot?
Ma'am, take
Hey, little bro.
Okay, ma'am, take a deep breath. Ma'am, we have everybody coming, okay? Ma'am, somebody get on the phone with me, please. Ma'am, hello? Ma'am, hello?
What, Jerry?
As more calls reach dispatchers, they're able to learn from other employees that the suspect fled the scene in a gray Saturn.
It's a black male. He works with us. I don't know. He posted on Facebook last night, and he came to work all weird.
Okay. Listen, we got everybody coming to help you. Take a deep breath. What's his name?
Jerry Motley. He shot Tom? What the? I have one
Conscious and breathing?
Conscious and breathing that shot. He's standing right
Okay. All right, and what about the other person?
Other person's on the ground, looks like he's dead.
The Clinton Township Police Department arrived to the shocking aftermath of Jerry's rampage. One victim, Angelo Joe McCauley III, was treated by paramedics at the scene.
Okay, so far from what I am seeing, this was a worker who literally crashed out because of the constant, I guess, abuse that he was having at the job. And he ended up taking these individuals' lives. This one is a tough one because at the end of the day, I don't think that people's lives should be taken. I don't condone that, you know. However, my thing is, why are you going to be a fucking idiot and fucking go on Facebook and let everybody know what you're going to do and then run away? What was the point of that? I don't know what was the point of that. You know, if you was going to do something and go all in and go into the gun blaze of glory because you thought what you did was righteous, then you should have done that. But the fact that you run away after you shot, I think, about 3 or 4 people, but then you posted that you was going to do something like that on your Facebook prior to you actually doing it, you're an idiot. You're an idiot at this point. I don't know. But let's go on.
And transferred to McLaren Hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. In a back office, the business owner, 61-year-old Thomas Edward Batke, was found face up on the tile floor in a pool of blood, with a fatal gunshot wound to the head. The murder weapon, a semi-automatic pistol, was found near his legs, containing 7 unspent rounds. Several employees were brought into the police station and asked to describe for detectives exactly what happened.
We all gather in Tom's office in the morning to find out what we're doing for the day, and just kind of bull talk and see what's going on. And
Hey Sharon, what up, bro?
Jerry was just acting
Shout out
really
to you.
weird.
Shout out to you.
In what way? Was he not talking to people?
No,
He normally
Go
does.
ahead and put
not talking.
link in the chat
And
for
buddy
me.
Jeff
Thank
in the
you.
other room was like his best friend, and Jeff said hi to him, and he's like,
Hey Skinny, how you
walked away,
doing? Happy
mumbled something,
holidays
walked
to
away.
you.
Okay, that's weird. Well, anyways, we're all in Tom's office to find out what's going on. And all of a sudden, we're like, just thinking like, where's Jerry at? And then all of a sudden, we seen the back door open, and then Jerry walks out like this.
Jerry pulls the gun out and says, "You motherfucker, I told you stop with me." Blam, shots once.
I've been to shooting range. I know what it smells like when you shoot a gun. I'm like, what the, when he shot Angelo, you can hear Angelo hit the ground.
Lori, the deceased owner's sister, described what happened next.
I literally, I can play it in my mind. Into my view came Angelo, and he's like this, and he goes, my God, that hurts.
Thank you, Brucey.
And Jerry was there, and I said, what the hell, what's going on? Because I heard the sound. Was a cat gonna firework? I mean, never in a million years. And he turned and he went this way through the door, and the door slammed, and boom, boom, against the door. And I was trying to push against the door, and I couldn't. I'm like, what is going on? Because I could hear it all against the door.
When he shot Joe, he was still going after Joe. He didn't have any intentions on going in the office because he was walking past the office. And I think that's when Dylan was right there and jumped on him. But when he was walking past the office, I could have sworn I heard him say, I'm sick of this bullshit.
Employee Dylan then attempted to stop Jerry from firing the gun again.
I grabbed both of his wrists and threw him up against the wall, and I couldn't hold him forever, and I knew that. I held him for about 20 seconds, and then he found a way into the office, and Tom, at the time my boss, the second guy that got shot, he was trying to lock the door.
It was then that Jeff jumped in to help, but the struggle spilled over into the owner's office.
He moved into the office, and he still had the gun, and I looked, and my dad, since Jeff was on him, my dad saw that, and he went to grab his arm and try to get control of it so no one else got shot. And then I saw that, and they were leaning on my dad's desk. So I jumped on Jerry, and I put him in a chokehold. And I don't know where my dad was. I know he was in there somewhere, but I just remember looking up, and I saw Jerry with the gun. He did one of these and pulled the trigger at my dad. Then after that, Jerry had the gun like this, and he shot it at the wall, and then he ended up dropping it. I don't know if it was because I was still choking him, so I don't know if he was losing consciousness. Then after that, it would be him and Jeff just fell to the ground in the doorway. And I remember looking up to the right, and I just saw my dad laying there. I could tell he was almost passed out because he started gagging. I kind of let off because I didn't want to kill him, you know what I mean? But I sat there telling him, I was like, you just killed my dad. Because I knew right away when I saw him laying there that there was no...
Did he say anything after you said that?
No.
Did he?
No, I got up. Since I was the first one to get up, I walked out front because I didn't know what to do. Because deep down I knew what happened, but I didn't know what to do.
It was then that Jerry, just as casually as he entered, made his way back to his car. However, he didn't make it far. Just 1 mile down the road from the business, Jerry lost control of his vehicle, slamming into the rear of a flatbed truck. Despite not wearing a seatbelt, he survived and was seen by the truck driver crawling out of a shattered window, fleeing on foot.
So, so again, this is a tattletale situation where you got to really stop playing with people. You don't really know what's going on with people. You don't know what's going on with them mentally. And sometimes y'all push the buttons and you push the wrong button and this happens. What he did is not an excuse. What he did is not an excuse. He went in there and he just started just shooting whoever he can possibly shoot. But then on top of that, like I said, the Facebook post prior to that, then you lose control of your car and you almost unalive yourself in that process. You get up and you run away. And then you go make another video about, what you did. It's just like, I hope even if you do get caught, right? If the police or authorities caught, don't sit up there. You can't say that it was self-defense. You can't say that you just had that, you saw red and you just, you lashed out and anger management issues. That's not going to work. That's not going to work here, And like I said, you wasn't even being sneaky about the shit. You let everybody know what you was going to do. So there's that premeditated situation happening, right? It's going to be definitely first-degree murder, and you murdered 4 people at a time. So yeah, I definitely see life in prison for you. This is just it's really sad. It's really sad. It's sad that he went through what he went through to the point where he had to take these people's lives. I'm under the understanding, like, if it's like that, if you're going through that type of situation, then leave. And I get people, we don't know people's situation, why they can't leave certain jobs and stuff like that. I get it. But you have to follow the channels, and if you have to leave for your, for your mental, your mental health, please go ahead and do that. This should not be the first thing that you do, or you don't wait until everything gets so bad and then you move in this way. I wouldn't tell anybody to do that, because now afterwards, when you got all the bloodthirst off of you, when you're not angry anymore or whatever, then you're going to sit back and you be like, oh shit, did I overreact? Oh shit, did I really want to do that? You probably didn't. You probably didn't. Hey, William, how are you doing? It's good to see you, sir. Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to you. I missed you too. I missed you too. Miss Joanne said Jerry lost control of his car and his brains. He did. He did. He just let it all hang out at this point. He let his emotions completely take over. The fact that he said that they said anything about lynching or anything of that sort, why you couldn't have filed a complaint, why you couldn't put in a police report in regards of that, at least create a paper record about what's going on with you. You know what I'm saying? That's what you should have done. This wasn't it.
Well, Stan.
And it's just crazy because, like, this morning I was asking what was wrong with Jerry, and, Jeff told me, did you read his Facebook status?
The night before the shooting took place, Jerry took to Facebook, leaving a cryptic post that hinted something dark was lingering in his mind. He detailed several incidents, writing, "You can't talk to another human being like that," then stating, "I put up with it for a year, no more."
Like, I was reading it, and it was just like all the people that gave me a hard time and this, and that, and I think he's talking about Joe.
Was there a history of Joe giving him a hard time? I mean, that you saw.
All right. Joe has done a lot of things to everybody. Okay. He's grabbed me by my neck and, choked me up one time at a job.
Joe the owner?
And see, this is why I say that you need to start paperwork and having paper trails, right? Because even in his talking with the detectives and stuff like that, he literally said that this guy named Joe, who was also a victim, used to do things to him that was inappropriate or unprofessional as a coworker. And you trying to make that an excuse. Oh, well, he choked me up one time. He grabbed me by my neck or something like that. That's not an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Just because he was able to do that with you, or he did that with someone else, that doesn't mean that it's okay for him to do that with another person that's not okay with that. People do not have to accept certain things about you, especially in a professional setting. You might believe that people are supposed to, but they don't. When you come to work, you want to come to work and do your job, and you want to go home. All that other stuff, you supposed to leave that out of the workplace anyway. It shouldn't even be about that. But he's already making the excuse, because he asked them, well, have so-and-so said something to Jerry before? First thing he said, well, Joe, he did this to me and that to me. You're trying to excuse the way that he probably was doing horrible things to Jerry. But the thing about it is, the biggest picture about it is, you don't know where people's mental state is. You don't know what is really going on in their life. You don't know what is going to take them over the edge. So you have to be mindful of that. Or if not, how about you just come to fucking work and do your fucking job? Excuse my language. Sorry, Miss Joanne. But I'm serious about that. Just come to work, do your job, and go home. Leave all that other stuff outside of your workplace. Miss Joanne said, those are good points, but he probably was thinking about this for a bit. No, he definitely was thinking about it for a bit. Absolutely. Can't claim justification of previous violence against you as a defense. Right. I agree. You need the paper trail to show the pattern. Right. Exactly. Absolutely. Because there is not going to be, because in the line of the law, they're not going to say that what Jerry did was equal to what he experienced on the job. They're just never going to look at it that way. They're not. Let's go on.
Worker.
Okay.
He's grabbed the owner's son by his neck and choked him up just for stupid little bickering arguments, and he's done it to Jeff. And he always picked on Jerry.
Angelo is kind of a bully, really, honestly. He'll like flick cigarettes at you, he'll throw at you, he'll just do all types of stuff to like kind of tick you off.
Right.
And picks on Jerry the most, so I could see why he was the first one shot.
According to the owner's son, there may be a reason Joe hasn't yet been fired, despite the allegations of abuse by his coworkers.
Sounds like Joe's a big dude. He's not small.
Mm-hmm.
Is he that meathead? Is he that guy that's got to pick on everybody, flick cigarettes at everybody, call names?
Oh, yeah.
Has he been there a long time? Worked for your dad?
Yeah, 17 years.
Wow.
My dad's known him since diapers. He's best friends with his dad. That's why, I mean, Joe's caused fights around there in the past 7 years that I've been there. Me and him butted heads a few times.
Does he keep his job because of the relationship between your dad and his dad?
Oh, yeah.
Why I think he shot Tom is because nothing happened. We've brought to Tom's attention that nobody likes Joe there. Everybody will tell you that. Nobody likes Joe here. We tolerate him. He's to everybody. He's just a cocky dude, just thinks his don't stink.
In part of Jerry's recording, filmed prior to the shooting, he made it clear why Joe was a target.
And Joe, the reason I shot Joe is because you're just ignorant. You're the mixture of racist and ignorant. Always constantly yelling at me, telling me to do. I done did everything that you said, but you're still crying about everything. Saying that I ain't worthless, what the hell am I doing in this company? You sat there and antagonized me that one day, and I told you to stop. Like, man, you got me up. Then the boss man's gonna defend you.
Have people gone to the owners about Joe and said, hey, things gotta stop? I mean, he's basically an asshole.
Yeah, Tom, the last situation Joe had.
So obviously, in this situation, Ms. Joanne said, why was Joe still working there? Joe was getting favoritism. He was getting favoritism. Joe's father was close to the owner, and that's why he probably even had the job, by nepotism. And he wasn't being held accountable. These are the remaining workers for this particular company, and they're saying that everybody hated this man. Everybody hated this man. This man attacked everyone or did inappropriate things or unprofessional things to everyone. And one of them admitted that he would go extra hard on Jerry, the one who did the mass shooting. So that's the reason why he wasn't fired. It wasn't taken seriously. It was something as someone you just supposed to just brush it over, endure this unless you want to work here. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't going to go anywhere. That's terrible. Bad idea to have family members working in your company, as it can lead to trouble. Sometimes, yeah. Brucey said, what is nepotism? Nepotism is pretty much when you show favoritism to previous relationships that you have in a certain situation. Normally we'll see nepotism when it comes down to families who have businesses or companies, and they hire their own children, their aunts, their nieces, their cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about a prior relationship that has nothing to do with the actual business, that, you kind of, put that as a priority. You know what I'm saying? That's what nepotism is. Yes. Hey, Stay Strong. How you doing? Happy holidays to you, sir. Bullies are cowards inside, insecure, low self-esteem, and who knows what else. Yes, absolutely. We know bullies are totally cowards, and they're insecure, and they project all that good stuff. But for some particular reasons, bullies always seem to, well, not in this case, but most bullies always usually gets to, get out of their situations. and not deal with any consequences from it. And is always expected onto the victim to be the better person or the bigger person, like a bully cares. Let's go on.
It was somebody who was with me is when he grabbed me up on my neck one time, and I told Tom, look, I'm either going to quit or you need to tell Joe, like, you're going to do something for him, like, get him help. And, you know, Tom told me I'm going to tell Joe to take anger management. I said, you know what, all right, I'll get over it. We're all family. We all got to work together. We've got to put roofs over our heads. That was it.
After wounding Joe, killing Tom, crashing his car, and fleeing on foot, Jerry was quickly apprehended when a Roseville police detective saw him running into a subdivision and successfully tackled him to the ground. He was then handcuffed by an officer with the Fraser Police Department, who later returned him to the custody of Clinton Township. He now sits with detectives, who will hear a haunting confession regarding his motives for the brutal attack.
I got the job through my best friend. Okay, my best friend is Jeff. Pretty sure you talked to him. But it just, something just didn't really feel right. Like, because then he started completely being that whole, just screaming and yelling at me if I get something wrong. Oh, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're worthless. The way he was acting towards me, and he was like, you would never get a raise here, you're just a piece of and you're and this. Every time we get in an argument, he reverts back to racism, and it's like I'm at a losing chance. And then whoever's with him, they're tagging along, they're laughing at the joke, so I'm just like a target. And it's just a constantly target every single day of my life.
Jeff, who explains he's known Jerry since high school, admits there was name-calling at the job site.
You know, there are times where, you know, there's racial slings back and forth, you know, he might say, or whatever, you know, or you know, he might say something about being white or something, you know. Everybody, even him, would shoot shots back. You know, it's just guys and guys. And then, like with me and him, our relationship, he technically is one of the whitest black people I know. He doesn't really like his kind either, per se. I mean, I guess you'd say back in the day, he kind of acts like it didn't really offend him as much, you know, when we were younger, you know.
In parts of the recording made before the shooting, Jerry speaks directly to his best friend, Jeff.
Jeff, let me tell you something. You are the most his best friend ever. The way you treated me when I first started at that company was overrage. Jumping around in the state truck, screaming, "Nick, Nick, Nick, Nick. Jerry, you ain't never gonna be nothing. My car broke down, so you had to come and get me." You just harassed me every single day. You harassed me about getting my car. When are you ever gonna get your car? I don't want to drive you. All this other bullshit. If you ain't want to drive me, you ain't have to drive. But there's no point. I just sat there and you just screamed and yelled at me. It's like, yeah, I'm the boss of you and all this other bullshit. Like, I can't believe you.
Don't get me wrong, we all joke around. You know, it's a construction work. It's a bunch of guys.
Right.
You know, both around. You're an idiot.
So there goes again. Like, I don't think Jerry's lying. Jerry don't have no reason to lie. You could tell you that everything that he did was because of emotions. Even his reactions of doing what he did was off of pure emotions, built up emotions that he had from the treatment that he was giving. And even how Jerry's talking right now. Jerry, you're supposed to be his best friend from childhood. And you're like, oh yeah, he's my bro. Yeah, some things were being said, but we're all joking around and all the stuff like that. But then look how bad Jerry felt that you're his friend, and how he jumped on the bandwagon of saying things that was offensive or disrespectful, or didn't want to drive him to work, want him to hurry up and get a car, you know, even though you accept it. If he asks you, hey, can you drive me to work? Because since y'all going to the boat, you're going to the same company. You didn't want to drive him, but you still did it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot. And I'm glad that, you know, the detectives can see Jerry's video where he's not being coerced. He's not under any pressure to say anything outside of his truths as into why he did what he did prior and after, right? When they got to speak to him, and before he even did the act. And then you can see the difference in the statements from the remaining co-workers that's there. Everything is, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. We all joke around. Boys would be boys. We all say stupid, goofy shit, whatever. Not, yeah, it gets racial, but it's a back and forth situation. Everything is to undermine Jerry's experience while being under that company, you know. So you don't look at it as, wow, this guy was really being bullied. That, wow, this guy was really being attacked. However, Jerry, I get it. It's hard out here. It's hard. But this is when you need to get a paper trail. This is when you need to start putting in reports and stuff. Even if you have to go to civil courts and stuff for situations like this is when you need to start doing that. And then you also need to remove yourself. One of the things that people have to learn is that you have to start removing yourself from situations and not letting your emotions and your mental take a beating. Some things is not worth it, because just think about it right now. You could have had just left. You didn't have to deal with that company anymore. You might have been out of a job, but now your freedom is over. You're probably not even going to get out of prison, right? You're probably not even going to get out of prison. So you sacrifice you having to go find another job. You sacrifice your life for that. We have to start weighing things differently and what really truly matters at the end of the day. There is a situation where you wouldn't have to actually ever see or deal with these people. That could have happened. You didn't have to ever see them or deal with these people again. They're a bunch of shitheads. The things that they say, okay, you don't have to deal with them. Remove yourself. He took the different route, and now he's going to have to pay for it. And like I said, even though people would sit there like, well, yeah, you know, hey, the stuff that was happening to him, the things that he was saying and stuff and what he was going through, you know, that would get anybody. I'll be upset too. I'll be mad, upset. I'll be upset. I'll be frustrated, blah, blah, blah. It still doesn't necessarily give you the right to take someone's life. No court is going to say that that was justice or equal. No court is going to approve that. So you got to be smarter in this situation. You have to be smarter. And it's hard. It's hard to be smarter when you're full of emotion and you're frustrated. It's terrible. Worldwide, how you doing, Worldwide? Good evening to you. I feel bad for dude being treated like shit at work. I've seen it, and I don't tolerate that at my job. I agree. You know, I don't think nobody should be treated a certain type of way. Hey, Larky, how are you? Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday. I hope everything is well with you, sir. Hope everything is well. You know, it's just really sad, you know? He was looking for a job when he found that one. They out there. Right. It's really sad. It's really sad. Station said, I hope he doesn't get hammered by the judge. It depends, right? It depends on if the judge is going to take into consideration that what led him to react in the way that he did is because of the constant abuse, the mental torture, him not being able to focus on his job or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then even that is a very slim type of situation, right? Because this was premeditated. He was thinking about it for a while. He did Facebook videos letting everybody know who he wanted to unalive or who he wanted to die and stuff like that. And then the judge, and this is me if I was a judge, I'm going to think back and say, okay, obviously this is not the first time that this happened to you. This is not the first time that they have said racial things to you or harmful things to you, said that you're good for nothing, why you're at this job, you're worthless. This is not the first time. And you've been on this job for a year. So the judge is going to take into consideration that you allowed for a whole entire year, you endured, and you didn't react in this type of way. Now, I understand people spazzing out, but the judge is not going to say that, is not going to excuse that the fact that you allowed all this to build up to the point where you decided to take these people's lives. The judge is not going to accept that, that you don't need to be held accountable. You see what I'm saying? The judge might sympathize with you. Like, we get it. People have their limits. Enough is enough, but that still does not make it right what you did. And this is what he's going to have to figure out and understand. Let's see. For real though, he could have dipped. He could have dipped. He definitely could have dipped. Yeah. Let's go on.
Excuse my language or whatever. Everybody picks on everybody.
All of my friends are Caucasian. All of them. And it's like I never in my life has been treated in a racial way really that bad. And it's like, it's not fair. And it's like, I even thought about like, maybe I should quit. But something inside of me was like, no, they can't get away. They can't get away with this. Like, this is not right. Y'all already broke through. Like, oh my God, it's nerve wracking.
So this is what I'm talking about. You had thoughts of maybe you should have quit. You should have went with your first thought. Maybe you should have quit. And if you wanted to stay, you needed to put out a report. Put out a report for the police report. I don't know, better BBB, whatever. You should have had done other things to let this be known that this is going on here, right? Create a paper trail, because now it's your word against theirs. And you see that everybody else is playing it down what was happening. They're making it seem that everybody was getting abused or bullied by this Joe fellow on a job. He would do crazy thing to everyone, put his hands on them, just being very unprofessional, right? And nobody can stand them. So they had done already minimized your experience. You would have created a paper trail that would have helped you a whole lot better, right? And also take your own advice. Leave the job. I don't understand, why the hell would you stay where you're not welcome? Why would you stay where you're not welcome? You're not proving anything to these folks by staying when you're not welcome. You're showing them that you like punishment, right? Like a masochist. What is that? Masochist? Yeah, like you're almost similar to a masochist. You like to endure a certain level of pain or uncomfortability. And it's okay with you. Just don't go over my limit. No, that's not the right thing. That's not the right thing to do. You should have thought about long term. If this is not good with my psyche, this is not good with my health. This is not good for anything. Like, and then on top of that, if you saying that you were the least paid from everyone in the company, you should have went somewhere else. I don't understand. Thank you, Skipper. I appreciate you for the jewels. Truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. But like I said, look what he did. He threw his life away. You threw your life away for people who wasn't worth it. They weren't worth it. Like, I guarantee you, if you weren't there, they were going to still be the shithole people that they are. They were still going to be the shithole people that they are if you were there or you wasn't there. Nothing would have changed except you. You would have just been in a better state, a better environment, a healthy environment. You're not proving anything to these type of people. Like, people got to get that in their head when it comes down to bullies, when it comes down to racist people, just even mean, nasty people. Like, you're not proving anything to them by staying and enduring. They get kicks out of that shit. That shit is fun to them. Watching you sitting up there trying to prove something to them, they don't fucking care. They're getting the reaction that they wanted. Let's go on.
Just thinking about it, like, it's like, how do you treat another human being so bad and expect him to be perfectly fine with it when it's a constant thing, when he told y'all multiple times to stop?
Jerry points to the nickname Black Jerry as a source of resentment. But employee Dylan shares their reasons for addressing him this way.
We do call him Black Jerry, but it's not because we're trying to be racist. We have multiple Jerrys that work with us. Okay. It's kind of just the easiest way. And he never told us that he didn't like it, so.
I'm the only black person there. Mm-hmm. And, like, I kind of, like, tried to bring it up to Tom, but Tom just, like, brushed it off. One morning I come in, and Tom, everybody's sitting there. They're just making black jokes. Oh, when you turn off the light, you're going to see his teeth go. I'm like, That's not funny. It was like, and then they just, no apologies, just went on about their life. Like, are you serious? Like, that's bull.
Jerry shares a more specific example of something that happened between him and Joe.
One day I was extremely pissed off, like I wasn't having a good mood. And for some reason, Tom sent me with Joe, and Joe was just being a, and I was like, dude, can you just leave me alone? So I kind of got pissed off, and I went in the truck. He's hitting the window while I'm in the truck, just terrorizing me. And Jeff was like, you know he's not going to stop. I was like, he just needs to leave me alone. And he's all laughing about it, thinking it's all funny.
Outrageous, screaming at me. Oh, if I get something wrong, oh shit, you should already know this. You've been here for at least 2 months. I have a disability. I can't do that. I know it now that I've been there for a year. You say, oh, I'm just doing whatever Joe's doing to you. That's not right. That's some bull.
Multiple co-workers acknowledged that Joe was particularly harsh with Jerry, but still couldn't believe he would take it to this extreme.
Jerry was, I've had him over my house a few times, you know what I mean? We've hung out. He was a good kid. I mean, granted, I know Angela, he gave him quite a bit of at work, but, I mean, Jerry's a little slow. So when you tell him to do something and he doesn't do it properly, you just got to keep telling him, you know what I mean?
Okay.
My dad's, to be honest, everybody's told my dad, you know what, Jerry's a good kid, but we don't mean he's cut out for this kind of work. My dad agreed, but he didn't want to just dump Jerry off, you know what I mean? He wanted to help the kid. That's what he does with a lot of these people around here. He's trying to help all of them.
According to Tom's sister Lori, she encouraged her brother to fire Jerry, but Tom refused.
He's a little slow.
Who's that?
Jerry.
Okay.
And I said to my brother, Tommy, things are getting slower, the winter season, da-da-da, you can laugh. Leave the kid alone. He needs a job. He did everything, and you killed him?
Yeah.
Oh, Tom was great to him. You know, Tom could have canned him 6 months ago, you know what I mean? He just wasn't the best worker all the time, you know, again, he was slow.
So I don't know how he is as a worker, and I'm not going to assume to be. Maybe he didn't know necessarily how to do the job anymore, but this is why you have on-the-job training. But just even hearing Jerry from the videos, the Facebook videos, and even his interrogation with the detectives, he's not as slow as they're making it seem that he is. And the point of the fact is, just because Tom, I guess Tom is the owner and he did shoot Tom, just because Tom didn't want to, I guess, fire him because he wanted him to still have a job, that does not mean that you get to abuse someone or allow certain abuse to happen. That's not a trade-off, right? And this is why I said that Jerry was supposed to do right by himself and leave that job. If all of that was happening and you felt that you was being singled out and you was being targeted and all that racial stuff was nonsense was going on and stuff like that, and even your own best friend joined in on it because they rather join in than be on the end of that stick, then you were supposed to do what was best for you and leave. You were supposed to leave. No way should he think that, you know, Tom or any of these people, the sister and all of them, that doesn't give y'all the excuse. Oh, we don't want him to have a job, so you know we're really looking out for him, but he has to take this kind of abuse and nicks because we're looking out for him. No, that's not a trade-off. That's not right. That's not cool. That it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Bruce said maybe they are meaning slow as in slow at his job. Not, yeah, I mean, well, the way that they're saying it is making it seem like he's slow, like he doesn't get things quickly. I'm hoping that it's just they're just talking about his work ethic or him understanding how to do the certain things on the job that they need him to do. It because to me they kind of look like yardmen. That's what they look like. They look like they're yardmen, like they deal with the tractors or picking up old cars and, you know, or junk cars and stuff like that. That's what they look like. I'm not sure, but maybe in that he can be slow, but he's definitely not slow intellectually wise. And then also, like I said, that's going to be a problem too. If he doesn't have anything in his history or in his background that he had anger management issue, that he's on some form of medication, that he's seeing a therapist for whatever reason or stuff like that, it's going to be hard for him to say, hey, I really just flipped out about them, I guess bullying me, because you endured the bullying for over a year. You had many opportunities to leave. You didn't. You wanted to stick it to the man or stick it to them. I can deal with it. I can deal with it. And then now you get to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm just going to just take you out. No judge in their right mind or going by the law is going to accept that. You're not going to get no clean slate, none of that. No, you're going to definitely do time, and you have to, because you did a crime. You definitely did a crime. Hi, Turkey. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Lord ADS, how are you doing, sir? Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday. Let's see. Oh, construction is a brutal work environment. Can't be weak-minded and deal with working with that. Yeah. Yeah, it is hard on, I definitely know it's hard on the body. So all this other stuff being hard on the mental, yeah.
Doesn't like the cold, all this. So, but he was very patient with Jerry, and which is why I don't understand what.
When Tom was shot, did it look like he was the target was Jerry's intention?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, because there's 4 of us there, and he could have went off and pop, all of us.
Right.
He wanted,
but he specifically got his arm in,
and
pointed at Tom, and pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Jerry continues his confession to investigators, sharing a specific incident regarding the owner, Tom.
Tom's started laughing, and he just turned to me. Oh, do you want to hear something funny? I'm like, not really, Tom. I really don't want to hear that funny. Oh, if you give a black person a watermelon, he'll do anything that you say. As he shakes the watermelon in front of my face. So I'm like, wow. So Joe turns around after he leaves the room and tells me, Jerry, don't tell nobody what goes down over here. Immediately I thought to myself, yeah, because if I tell anybody, it's not gonna matter.
The kid didn't look like he had a care in the world that he just did any of that. And I don't know why he shot my dad. My dad was nothing but good to him. There's no way he just randomly decided to just bring that gun into work. You know what I mean? He wouldn't just do that. He's that type of kid where he has to plan it. He doesn't just go with the flow. His brain just doesn't work that way. I just don't understand what pushed him this far today.
So you can't picture a specific event in the last few days or whatever. Okay.
Detectives also wondered if this was a sudden decision by Jerry, or something he'd been planning for some time.
Where did you get the gun from?
Gun shop.
Have you ever shot it before today?
Nope, honestly, that's my first time ever shooting a pistol.
How did you find out how to use it? YouTube, okay.
Yeah.
Jerry explains he originally purchased it 4 months ago, after a heated argument with Jeff when they were returning from a job site.
All the way back, we're screaming and yelling at each other. He pulled over. He was like, your attitude is ridiculous. I hate you. And at this point, I'm already crying. I'm emotional. I don't even know what to do. I'm pissed off. So I went to go talk to Tom about it. Tom was like, well, all you need to do is just listen to Jeff. I'm like, but he's screaming and yelling at me. He was like, are you doing what he's saying? I was like, but you don't have to scream and yell at me. I was like, I messed up once and he screamed and yelled at me. She was like, well, all I need you to do is listen to him. Brush it off like it wasn't nothing. So I went to the gun shop, got the gun, filled out the paper and all that. First time buying a gun. So I carried it once to work because it was a potential. But like that, I backed out because it was like, okay, maybe down the road it'll change.
Mm-hmm. Maybe things will get better, right?
Right.
I was treated unfairly. Damn, from the simple fact that you say everything about black people. You blame black people for all your problems, and you blame me for your problems. Jimmy, you ain't never gonna be nothing. Oh my God, you're a piece of... Oh, well, here you go. Huh? I know.
But as Jerry reveals, he had bigger plans than targeting just Joe and Tom.
Let me ask you this: if your plan to get back at these guys worked out perfectly, what would have happened?
100%, I probably would have been shot dead on the site.
That you would have been shot dead?
Pretty much.
Or you mean you would have shot all of them dead?
No, I had a different plan for my best friend. I would have shot my best friend in his 2 legs, make sure he couldn't walk ever again, and pretty much from there, just let it role play.
Did you want to kill everybody there but your best friend?
Pretty much everybody but my best friend.
You understand what happened today. You understand that. What you did was wrong. You know what you did was wrong.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that for a
That
fact.
is going to take a human life. You know that.
Yeah.
And you were intent on killing these people in the shop.
Yes.
And you killed Tom, you shot him in the head, and you took 2 shots at Joe. And your intentions were to kill him too.
What were you feeling when this was going on?
In my head, get him. Get Joe and go after everybody else.
But due to the quick intervention by his co-workers, Jerry was disarmed before he could harm anyone else. The only loss of life was that of his boss, Tom. Lori shares that outside of work, Tom took care of his wife, who's bound to a wheelchair and battling advanced stage 4 cancer.
Did I ever in a million years think somebody would bring a gun in and shoot somebody? No. My brother.
See, this whole situation is sad, right? Because I literally just believe that you have a lot of people who's dealing with a lot of outside issues, and they're just literally taking their outside issues on each other, projecting what's going on onto other people, and they're using it as a leeway to, to get through their mundane lives or the things that they have to go through. It's quite sad, but Jerry, the reason why he's being as open as he is because he doesn't care anymore. You can tell that he doesn't care anymore. He's not trying to make any excuses. He's literally saying, I did it because they did this. And they all laughed. They all was in on it. They all was ganging up on me. They seen the things that was happening to me. No one stood up for me. Not even my best friend stood up for me. Really, he participated when he wanted to, right? To be along with the gang. And it's really sad because you would think that these are grown adults, you know what I'm saying, that would make better decisions, but they're not. They're not. They really aren't. Better decisions, you would think. Let's see. Always here it builds character. Haha. I don't know about that, but sure make me think skin quickly. Thick skin quickly. Yeah. The problem with that's just a trope. When some people say, oh, you have to have thick skin to be in da da da, people are literally conditioning you to take certain type of things. That's all that is. That's an excuse. That's just an excuse. You have to be okay with certain type of things going down because that's just the environment. That's just what it is. No, you don't. You don't have to be okay with it. But you do have to know how to walk away, though. Yes, construction is definitely not for people who wear their hearts on their sleeve. No, there is not. It really isn't. It really isn't. Instead of shooting his antagonist, he shoots the boss. I mean, he did try to, shoot the one who was really bullying him, but yeah, with the boss, yeah, something else happened that I don't think he told the detective, but to me, something else happened with the boss that would make him shoot him dead in the head. He didn't even do that to the guy who was bullying him constantly every day and screaming at him. In fact, the guy was injured and he's still alive. He's still alive with that. So I don't know. There are kids. Hey, Rosie, how you doing, dear? How you doing? Thank you for stopping by, sweetie. Thank you for stopping by. It's just really sad. I just wish that people wouldn't do this. I really do. I wish people wouldn't do this. Sometimes, what's going on with you and everything like that, you have to find other outlets, and the outlets can't just be putting all your negative energy onto other people. Because this is when we have crazy situations like this. This is when you have sad, crazy situations like this. You have someone who lost his life, and now he's left behind a disabled wife, you know, who can't run the business. Now the children, the son has to run the business, the sister has to run the business. It's terrible.
Mother, least of all. My brother played Santa for kids, for people in nursing homes. My brother was no doubt the kindest man, and I wish he would have shot me instead of him. Chad, why didn't you take me instead? Why didn't you take me instead of Tommy?
Are you feeling any remorse for what you did today?
It's probably going to hit me later on, but as of right now, I'm just like, it happened. I can't control it. Yes, I do want to cry because honestly, it could have been avoided. Yes, I know it was wrong. I know it could have went another way. But hey, it was my choice. As a human being, you make choices that you got to deal with. So now I have a body on my hand, and I'm probably going to be looking at a long, long time for this. So now I just rock.
Do you think you should be forgiven for this?
No.
What do you think that should happen to you?
Bury me, lock me up, leave me to rot. That's just the way it is.
According to court records, Jerry Motley Jr. was ultimately charged with homicide, first-degree murder, multiple theories, assault with intent to murder, weapon carrying with unlawful intent, and 2 counts of weapons felony firearm. A jury found him guilty on all counts, and on August 7, 2025, he received a cumulative sentence of life in prison without parole. If you'd like to see select new videos early and help us keep uncovering case files that rarely come to light, you'll find extra footage and unseen details on our Patreon. Channel memberships here on YouTube also include early access to select new videos.
We need to be in the
Jerry did the wrong thing. Jerry did the wrong thing, but you can tell by the conversation that he had, he was over this situation anyway. It seemed like he was over life. He was over social interactions with other people. He was done. He was done, and this was his, like, I guess his little manifesto to the world, really. If he really had it his way, he would have went out gun blazing. He would have probably wanted to do a suicide by cop shooting him and all the stuff like that. But he kind of chickened out a little bit. That's why he left. That's why he tried to get in his car and drive away, and he ended up getting caught a mile away. And it's unfortunate. Like I said, I don't believe that he did the right thing. I understand what happened to him. I still don't believe that he did the right thing. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I'm going by the law. The law is not going to take that into consideration. It would have been different if he had threats on his life. If those people were actually threatening his life on a regular basis or doing things on a job that was threatening to, to his physical self, then I think that the cops or the judge or even a lawyer would have taken that into consideration, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Everything was just verbal. And the first thing they're going to say, well, you could have left. You could have got a different job. You could have stopped being friends with your best friend once you felt that he betrayed you and he joined on to the bandwagon. That's what they would have said. And he admitted himself, and he knew exactly what he did was wrong. He doesn't expect to be forgiven. It's unfortunate that so many people's lives was affected by this. So many people lost their life in this situation. Not only the one who actually physically lost their life, it just in general. Jerry lost his life. He lost his life. Don't know about Joe. Joe could be all messed up. We don't even know where he got shot at. We don't know if he's ever gonna be back to the way he was again. And Tom lost his life. So it's sad. It's really, really sad. Brucey said if it was me, I would be waiting at his truck at work. One of them would have been an ass whooping. Oh, God. We pray together at work each morning before we start the day. An awesome place to work. Oh, that's good. That's a good place to work. All right, guys. So I have another case for you. Go ahead and hit the like button for me. Like I said, I know it's late. So we'll see how it plays out with this one. If it gets a little bit too late with the review, then I will work on the next day bringing some more topics and stuff for you. So just go ahead and hit the like button for me. Truly appreciate it. Hit the down button. Still helps the channel. Share this out to anyone who like these immersive type of conversation where we discuss cases that have already been solved and, start to get an understanding about the people that's involved and also the detectives that's involved in these situations. So the next case that I have for you good folks is about the destructive case of Joshua Powell. It seemed like this happened back in the early 80s, early 70s, but it seemed very interesting to me. So I wanted to go ahead and check this out with you guys. So let me go ahead and pull up my screen and we can get into it. All right. And I hope y'all can see this. Here we go. Oh, hold on.
To somebody new, but tonight you belong to me.
Just had what is probably the most erotic experience I've had in my entire life. I just hate to say it. I mean, of course, I haven't had that many experiences, but Susan has been feeling ill. She had a cold. And I offered to rub her feet, to rub her toes, to give her some stimulation. That went on. I probably rubbed her feet, her toes, her beautiful feet. She has such pretty feet. Of course, everything about her is pretty, beautiful. And I know she felt it. I mean, I know she couldn't have missed it. She's not naive either, I know, from what I've read in her journals. That girl is not naive. When I started massaging her legs, I would have loved to go all the way up her legs, but I did do her calves because her feet were resting in my crotch, so I sort of rubbed her calves. She didn't seem to mind at all having me that close. I mean, I was close. I was touching her with my crotch.
This is Stephen Powell. In January of 1976, Stephen Powell and his then-wife Terry Powell gave birth to their son, Joshua Powell. Terry has claimed that throughout Josh's childhood, Stephen would allow Josh to do whatever he pleased, with very little discipline. Stephen would also have a tendency to show Joshua pornography at a very young age. During Josh's teen years, it has been said that Josh once attempted to commit suicide. He would make threats towards his siblings while holding knives, and on one occasion, he deliberately killed his sister's gerbil. When Josh graduated from high school, he then moved to Seattle and attended the University of Washington. Sometime during his stay in Seattle, between 1997 and 1999, Joshua met his first girlfriend, Catherine Everett. They dated for a short while before moving in together. Catherine has stated that during the initial months of living in the apartment with Josh was a kind and caring boyfriend, but that quickly changed when he began restricting her from speaking to family and friends. Catherine began to feel trapped and unsafe around Josh, so she decided to plan a vacation to Utah and never came back. She then broke up with Josh in November of the year 2000. Very soon after the breakup, Josh would go on to meet a woman by the name of Susan.
I find that very interesting because I was just on my brother's live stream. Shout out to Sharon. Shout out to Sharon. I was just on my bro's live stream and we was just talking about that. I had just brought that up about the isolation and the manipulation that people do in relationships when they make their significant other have to give up important relationships that they had prior to getting with them to be with them. And look and behold. Look and behold, right? That is a big problem, guys. And I don't think so many people want to admit that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it usually leads out to that all the time when they try to isolate you to anybody that know you, love you, and have always supported you. And this is not only just for women, this is for men too. When you have women who wants you to isolate and remove all the people that you had in your life and stuff like that, whether it's for her from her insecurity and her ego, and you feel that that's the only way that your relationship or your marriage is going to be good, that means that your marriage and your relationship is shaky to begin with. To me personally, it's shaky to begin with if any outside force can come in and break it so easily just for being, just for being there. But, c'est la vie. C'est la vie. Let's go on.
Cox at a party hosted by mutual friends. The relationship moved very quickly, and Josh and Susan would tie the knot in April of 2001. After the wedding, the two of them moved back to South Hill, Washington, to live with Josh's father, Stephen Powell. Stephen quickly became infatuated with Susan. He began writing obsessive notes in his own personal journal, secretly reading Susan's diary, sharing love songs online, and even making voyeuristic videos of her very frequently, like this one.
That's Susan. There's Josh. Standing with her, but I really want her. I wish she would look my way. She was so pretty today when she came over to the house. Wish the lighting was better.
I had to stop there. That's beyond creepy. That is beyond creepy. Like, you sitting videotaping her, and like, that is wild, man. Like, what is, oh my goodness. Y'all got, like, folks who think that that's cool and that's normal is not okay. It's not okay. If you cannot trust the person that you're with, you really shouldn't be with them. If you can't accept that that person is a human being and they can do wrong, right? If you can't accept that, there's a problem. You shouldn't probably be with them. I don't understand why did people think that this is okay and cool. It's not okay and cool. Because just like, let's just flip it to a different situation. Would you want someone doing that to your daughter? Would you want someone to be literally videotaping your daughter across the street, following her every move and who she talks to and all that stuff like that? Like, this is not okay. And if you're real friends to people who think like that, you need to tell them that it's not okay. It's not okay.
Stephen would also make video journals of himself speaking to the camera about his interactions and intense feelings about Susan. Eventually, Stephen's emotions grew too strong, and he confessed his love to Susan.
I'm probably wrong, but I've really fallen in love with you. And, I don't know. I mean, for the last year and a half, you're about the only thing we can think about.
I'm not even sure about that. I don't even know.
And I don't know where it began. It probably began when you were living with me and you come into my office and,
Yes, he was stalking his wife. Yep.
Feel your legs smooth, relaxed, whatever. And then it just went from one thing to another. And, that experience on the couch, your couch in Yakima 6 months ago was just, I know that, it was a massage, right? But just being with you for 2 hours and holding you, and maybe I'm getting the wrong.
So I had to stop right there. I have to put this PSA out, okay? What he's talking about is not love. He doesn't love this person. He's in limerence. Okay? This is not love. He has an infatuation to someone that he does not know. He took any form of access and communication with this woman as she wanted to be with him, or there's some spark or feeling there, and that's all in his head. He's literally talking about a quote unquote massage that I guess she gave him at the house or something like that. But just being able to spend 2 hours, 4 hours with her, the way how she made him feel, he was head over heels. You don't know this woman. You have not had that intimate relationship with her to know this woman. So this is not love. This is limerence. This is all in your head. Okay? And it's not only a man thing, us women do it too. It's all in your head. It's not really love. It's not. Let's see. Brucey said, that must be a miserable way to live, having to have control over everything if you don't flip out. Yeah, it is a miserable way to live. It's a miserable way. It's because that's in your thought all the mind. That's your constant thought, is that, oh my God, I have to know everything. I have to have that, that one up. I have to have that plan B. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to know everything that's going on, everything that's moving. It's very toxic and it's very tiring. Very tiring. Being in control like that, guess what? The funny thing about it is, eventually you will not have no control, or that perceived control that you think you have. You don't have it anymore once the person stopped playing with you, right? Once the person stopped playing with you, that control that you think you have is out the fucking window. That's the easiest way to remove this quote unquote sense of control that you think you have over a person, is when they remove themselves. And then we got the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs people who go and do the beyond, well, if I can't have you, nobody else will, and commit these crimes and stuff like that. But truly, when a person decides that they don't want to even be bothered with you, that sense of control that you think you have, it goes right out the window. That's the whole point, because you don't really have fucking control. It's a illusion. Any form of control that you have, the person had to give it to you. Let's go on.
Take this from you. Maybe I'm interpreting something that I shouldn't be interpreting. It just, for example, when we were sitting on the couch, it just felt like you were very, I was extremely aroused, and I think you were somewhat aroused. At least I thought.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Susan, I don't. I'll tell you what.
I'm married to your son, and I should just be the daughter-in-law.
I know.
Which puts me a step beneath your own children. He literally is stalking and saying he's madly in love with his daughter-in-law. His daughter-in-law. What the fridge? What? That's your daughter-in-law?
You were the chosen one!
You want to take your son's wife?
You were the chosen one!
That's crazy. Completely crazy. Wow. I just hit on that. He's talking about his daughter-in-law, and that whole confession was from his daughter-in-law. So what are you gonna do? You really think that she's gonna leave your son to be with you? That's crazy.
When Susan expressed to Josh her discomfort with the situation, they began to speak about moving into a place of their own. Shortly after this, Stephen made a move on Susan and tried to kiss her. It was after this incident that Susan and Josh finally decided to move into their own apartment in West Valley City in Utah. Despite the relationship beginning to show signs of toxicity, the two went on to give birth to their first son, named Charles, in 2005, and then to their second son, named Braden, in 2007. Unfortunately, the weird advances from Josh's father didn't end with the move, as Josh would stay in good contact with Stephen, and Stephen would make weird statements over the phone about Susan. and once Stephen mailed a package to Utah containing graphic images of naked men. As this behavior began to further strain the relationship between Josh and Susan, Josh began spending money very irresponsibly. He would also begin to treat Susan in similar ways to that of which he treated his ex-girlfriend, Catherine. He became more and more unstable and controlling, as well as more and more possessive. Nearing the end of 2007, just after the birth of their second child, Josh and Susan declared bankruptcy, citing that Josh possessed about $200,000 of debt. This sequence of events led Susan to become more worried about her safety, and in July of 2008, Susan went on to record a video documenting some of the couple's personal belongings.
Covering all my bases, making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our assets are documented.
Shortly after making this video, Susan also wrote up a will. Contained in that will, Susan made this statement, "If I die, it might not be an accident, even if it looks like one." On December 6th, 2009, a neighbor of the Powell family stops by.
This is really deep. This is really a deep, deep story, guys, because it seems that her husband caught that jealous, controlling bug that his father has. Father tried to make hits and advances on her. They end up leaving the house because they couldn't take it anymore. The father was still in pursuit to try to destroy their marriage because he wasn't trying to give her up. Even to the point where he knew that this would play on his son's psyche, where he would look different at her, look different at their marriage and stuff like that, and start acting reckless. This is really, really deep. And the fact that she was already scared about her well-being, that she had to make video recordings so people can use just in case if anything happens to her, this is what's going to belong to my kids. This is what my kids get and all this stuff like that. That says a lot. She feared for her life for a while. Before they actually made the official separation, she was fearing for her life. She was fearing that she would even have anything. That's deep. That's real deep. Because the father, I mean, who else but your parents know you, right? As you being a kid, they know what would trigger you. They know what would you and mess things up, get in your head. That's crazy. Brucey said, right, that's dad's plan to make his son not trust his wife so he can have her. Right. Yeah, that's what he was doing. That was exactly what he was doing. He was meddling in their marriage and stuff like that, causing that separation there. And then because he knew that his son would react the way how he would react in certain situations, he knew that his son would eventually, set things in motion where she's not going to be able to deal with this anymore. This is really deep.
The house while Josh is still at work to visit Charles, Braden, and Susan. This neighbor leaves the house around 5 p.m. Another neighbor then witnessed Josh arrive home and park the family minivan inside the garage around 8 p.m. Later that night, roughly around 11:45 p.m., a neighbor can hear the alarm of the family minivan going off inside the garage. They noted that it appeared that all of the lights inside the house were off. 2 hours later, at about 2 in the morning of December 7th,
Hey, Karen,
the same
how you
neighbor
doing,
that
dear?
heard the car alarm earlier heard a man and woman screaming and yelling, coming from the Powell residence. The man was yelling, "Get into the van." And the woman was yelling, "No, you're going to hurt me if I do." The van was then witnessed leaving the home with 4 occupants. Later that morning, Josh, Susan, Charles, and Braden were all reported missing to the police. When Josh and Susan did not attend work, the police decided to access the Powell residence. Upon entering the house, the police found 0 signs of struggle or foul play. However, the police did find Susan's purse with her wallet containing her identification. They also noticed a wet spot on the couch with 2 large fans pointing directly at it. Later that same day, at about 5 p.m., Josh returns home with both Charles and Braden. Susan was nowhere. Sight. Josh's hands were fairly dirty and had several cuts. And when asked about Susan, Josh would state,
So apparently, obviously, so whoever took them or told them to get in the car and stuff, she knew, right? She knew. They overheard it. They overheard the situation. And then it's funny, and well, it's not funny, but it's not a coincidence that he comes back and it's the kids and the mother's not there. The mother's not there. I hope nothing happened to this woman. I really do. I really do hope nothing happened to this woman. Station said, "Oh, I've seen this one on Dateline." You seen this one on Dateline? Oh no! Tell me what happens. Tell me what happens. Let's go on.
That he and the 2 boys left for a camping trip just after midnight the night before, and that Susan stayed home in bed. When the police searched the family minivan, they found tarps, blankets, a shovel, a container of gas, and a generator. They also found Susan's cell phone in the van, which seemed to have had the SIM card removed. When Josh was questioned about why he did not attend work that day or let his boss know that he would not be attending, he replied that he completely messed up the days and thought that it was Sunday when it was actually Monday. When he was questioned about why he was not answering his phone, he replied that his battery was very low, so he was doing his best to make sure the remaining battery would last, just in case something were to happen. He also stated that he did not have a charger with him for the vehicle. Due to the strange circumstances surrounding Susan's disappearance, the police continued their investigation into Josh Powell and the Powell household. Further investigation of the house provided a number of interesting finds. The police located the will that was written by Susan, as well as a note where Susan stated that she was concerned about her safety and afraid for her life. They also located documentation for a $1.5 million life insurance policy recently taken out on Susan. After testing the wet spot on the couch, they found trace amounts of Susan's blood combined with the blood of an unknown male. The police also became quickly aware of Josh's suspicious activity that happened within the days surrounding Susan's disappearance. They found that Josh had withdrawn all of the money that Susan had put into retirement accounts. He had also pulled both of their sons from the daycare that they were enrolled in, and canceled any appointments that Susan had made with.
Don't worry about it, Rebel. I'm gonna look on my post. Thank you, dear.
The police also spoke with several of Josh's co-workers, one of which claimed that at a work party before the disappearance, Josh stated that the best place to hide a body would be inside an abandoned mine shaft. When the police further investigated the story that Josh had told about going camping, they returned to the location he spoke of, which is called Simpson Springs, located in western Utah. The police were unable to locate any evidence that Josh and the 2 sons had actually spent the night there. The police also went on to question the oldest of the 2 sons. When speaking with Charles, who was only 4 years old at the time, Charles confirmed that they did go camping. However, he also stated that both Charles and his brother, as well as both Josh and Susan, were together on the camping trip. However, Mom did not come home.
So your mom stayed at the park. Where did she stay at the park?
Hold on. There we go.
Do you know where? Do you know where at the park? No?
No.
My mom stayed where a crystal are.
One of Charles's teachers later went on to claim that Charles would make statements in class that his mother, Susan, was dead. Charles also drew a picture of a van with 3 occupants and said to the daycare workers that Mommy was in the trunk. On the same day as Charles's interview, on December 8, 2009, Josh was also interviewed. When confronted with the information that his son provided, Josh further denied that Susan came camping and kept his mouth completely closed.
I just spoke with some of our other detectives, and you're going to have to wait here with us. You're not going to go anywhere. One of our detectives just and your children telling our detectives that Mom went with you guys last night and that she didn't come back.
She did not go with us.
Okay, well, with that, just getting that information, you're not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to let you leave. I'm going to detain you. You sit right here. If you want a lawyer and you want to talk, or you want to change your mind and talk, or take a CBSA test, then we can do those things, but
Now with that in mind,
They know that she didn't go with us.
well, here's the thing, kids are very honest. That's one thing I've learned in the years of doing this job. That when kids talk to us, we'll listen because they're honest. And they never lie, they don't make things up. So if they're saying they were with you, they were with you. Okay, I mean, she was with you. So I have to believe the kids. So now it's gonna be up to you if you wanna help us find her and help us get to the bottom of what really happened here. That's what we're here for, okay? We're gonna find out either way, with your help or without your help. I honestly don't need your help. I feel confident enough in my investigation and his investigation and everybody else involved. We have great detectives in this department that will find out what happened. We'll get to the bottom of this with your help or without your help. So I want to give you the opportunity to help us and tell us what really happened. Because you're the one that knows.
Nothing that happened. She was not with us. And if my kids said that...
So your kids lie then?
Obviously tell that homie is lying. We can obviously tell that those poor babies are traumatized, even to the point where they went to school and they went to the daycare and they told things that they saw because it was traumatic to them. And we see what the motive was. He was already controlling from the beginning. He let his father get in his head. Obviously, there was another male present. I would not put it past that his dad was also involved in this. And then we have the other part of the motive of the money. She went and took out a life insurance policy, and he knew how much it was. He was already taking out her retirement money and everything else and moving it into his accounts because they were married. This whole thing is so disturbing, really. It's really, really, really disturbing. And my heart goes out to those poor kids to even have somewhat of an understanding about what might have happened to their mom and live that and endure that. It's really a terrible sight. It's really a terrible, terrible experience.
Do your kids lie?
Sometimes they do. I mean, if they said that she was with us, they know that's not true.
So if they say...
if they said that she was with us, then I guess that would put her out in the express.
Okay, and that's my concern.
Josh then quickly retained an attorney and was labeled as the main person of interest in the disappearance of Susan. Just under a month later, in January of 2010, Josh and his 2 sons moved back into his father's home in Washington. Around this time, Josh, Stephen, and the family of Susan were beginning to have public confrontations.
And I guess we're here. You're
not believable.
Yeah, right, sir. Right, I'm not. You are, though. Anyway, is there any other question that I can answer for anybody? I'm totally open to anything. I mean, we got a lot of information about the Cox family and about Susan, a lot of it from her journals, a lot of it from Josh's, you know, he lived with Susan for 8 years before she left. He knows a lot that is not in the journals, but the journals confirm what he knows that Susan told him about her family, about her growing up years. We weren't going to bring this up with the media. He brought it up with the media.
But you
okay?
came here.
I did come here. Yes, I did. Because I wanted to see what was going on, and I wanted to.
And I have one question for you. How is you coming here helping to find Susan?
It isn't helping to find Susan. How is your standing at our neighborhood market helping to find Susan, Chuck?
People see the signs, her
Bullshit.
pictures out in the media.
Right.
It's been
That
all over the media.
Yeah.
If somebody has
no.
seen her, then they can
yeah,
report to the
and
police.
Just by the father doing that, and I'm sorry guys if it's a little slow on your end, but just because the father is doing that makes him even more suspicious, and he doesn't even understand that it makes him more suspicious. You came to a news reporting that her parents are doing on her to try to find their child. You came up there to make remarks about what she would journal in her journal book, and what her husband had experience with her within the 8 years. Like, you really make yourself look really, really bad, because it seemed like you're covering for yourself and also covering for your son. You don't sound like a concerned father-in-law. And where's your daughter-in-law? Where is the mother of your grandchildren? You don't sound like that at all. In fact, you're sitting up here questioning why her own father is having a news report about his daughter. Whether or not, if maybe things he might have said might have put eyes on your family, you know what I'm saying, in regards of her disappearance. So what? If you was really concerned, you should have been to have that news reporting about her, to give certain descriptions about her personality and whatever, not things that she liked. Maybe she could be found at this place, like at a zoo or at a church, or she used to go dancing at this place or roller. You know what I'm saying? Like, you will be out there helping, but you're not out there helping. You're out there painting a picture about a woman that's missing. And that's very, very suspicious. So if he thought that he was helping his son's case or even his case, he's foolish. He made it worse. Cause now it really looks like it has something to do with it. It now really looks like you had something to hide. You remember what I tell you about people who like to bad mouth and bad talk people, especially when they're missing. Remember what I tell you about those people. They're not throwing out those negative things to say about those people for no reason. Let's go on.
You're only going to do this. Which other stores are you doing this at, Chuck?
We're doing it in West Valley City.
As tensions and suspicions continued to grow, more bizarre events began to unfold. At one point, a website was created that suggested that Susan had met a journalist who had also disappeared around the same time that she went missing. It went on to insinuate that Susan's mental health was severely declining and that she had likely ran off with this new man to Brazil. It is believed that this website was started by Josh and Stephen Powell.
Hey,
After the
Ricardo,
police were
how you
able to obtain a
doing?
warrant
Happy
to search
Tuesday.
Josh's new home, which he and his sons lived in with Stephen, the police discovered about 4.5 thousand photos and videos of Susan as well as other women and neighbors that belonged to Stephen. A large portion of these photos and videos appeared to have been recorded without Susan or the others' knowledge. When Stephen was questioned about these photos and videos, he claimed that he and Susan had fallen in love behind Josh's back. On September 12, 2011, Stephen Powell was arrested and charged with voyeurism, as well as child pornography, as many of the photos and videos that were secretly recorded appeared to be that of children.
Let's go back
Oh my
to our
God.
lead story tonight. The father-in-law of Susan Cox Powell, the Utah mom who disappeared in 2009, was arrested today on child porn charges in Washington State.
A prosecutor involved in the case against Stephen had strong beliefs that though Josh did not commit the same crimes as Stephen, that Josh was likely well aware of many of the crimes that took place and possibly involved in similar crimes of his own. Because of this, Josh would lose custody of his children temporarily. Josh then moved out of his father's home and into a place of his own. On February 5th, 2012, a social worker was scheduled to bring Charles and Braden to see their father for a supervised visit. When the social worker arrived at the home, Josh answered the door and quickly told the kids to hurry inside and that he had a surprise for them. He then slammed the door before the social worker could enter and locked it.
Hey, I'm on a supervised visitation for a court-ordered visit, and something really weird has happened. The kids went into the house, and the parent, the biological parent, whose name is Josh Powell, will not let me in the door.
Within moments, the house exploded, killing Josh and both children, Charles and Braden.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John DeCepolo. We are interrupting your programming for some breaking news out of Pierce County this afternoon. We have just confirmed there has been a fatal explosion at the home of Josh Powell. Air 4 is over the scene right now. Take a look at some of these pictures. This home is completely devastated and decimated.
The inferno erupted just after 12 noon. Police say Josh Powell used something, maybe gasoline, to set off the fire. Investigators tell us the children had just arrived with a social worker to visit their dad when he pulled his two young sons into the home, locked the door, and set the fire moments later.
After containing the house fire and observing the bodies, the children were both found with cut marks on their heads and on their necks, and a hatchet was found next to Josh. However, the coroner would specify that the cause of death for both boys was carbon monoxide poisoning. At one point during the initial days since disappearance, Josh's brother Michael had become under suspicion for the random disposal of a Ford Taurus vehicle at a wrecking yard in Oregon. When Michael was questioned by police, he would not and did not provide any direct answers regarding why he had done this. When the police located the vehicle, they could not find any direct connection to Susan's disappearance. However, almost exactly 1 year after the explosion, on February 11th, 2013, Michael Powell committed suicide by jumping off of a 7-story parking garage. After serving his time for the voyeurism and child pornography charges, Stephen Powell was released from prison on July 11, 2017. Just over 1 year later, on July 23, 2018, Stephen Powell died of a heart attack at the age of 68.
Yeah, good morning. And Steve Powell, of course, is the father of Josh Powell and the father-in-law of Susan Cox Powell, the West Valley woman who disappeared from her home without a trace back in December of 2009. There was a tweet issued late last night from the Pierce County Sheriff's Office confirming Stephen's death and saying that he died of an apparent heart attack. Now, this is a situation, an ongoing saga that many Utahns are familiar with. Now, after they were married and before moving to Utah, Susan and Josh lived with Steve in his Puyallup, Washington home. Later, when detectives were searching for evidence relating to her disappearance, they found journal entries where Stephen Powell poured out deep feelings for his daughter-in-law, Susan. And during that same investigation, they also found clues that Mr. Powell had been very active in voyeuristic acts in his own neighborhood, some involving very young children. And at one point, he was actually brought up on charges and sentenced to prison. Now, this is a situation where the ultimate goal in all of this was to try and find Susan Cox Powell. Well, that never happened. Later on, Stephen Powell's grandsons, Charlie and Braden, were murdered in 2012 during a supervised visit with their father, Josh, in Washington. Josh also died in that fire and explosion. Neither Josh nor Stephen ever revealed anything regarding the whereabouts of Susan Cox Powell. She remains missing, and the investigation into her disappearance remains unsolved.
The body of Susan Cox Powell has never been discovered.
A horrible murder. Let's not call it a tragedy to distance ourselves from it. Let's not sanitize it. Let's call it what it is. It is something terrible. It is something wrong. It is something evil.
Guys, I had the fucking, I was like speechless with that. The poor children. The poor children, the poor mother. It seems like the whole men of that particular family was all in on it. That's what it seems like. And because they're punks and they can't deal with, the situation that they did, you take your life, you take your children's life, then your brother takes his life, then the father dies a year later after he went to jail, and that was off of him literally stalking and taking videotape of not only Susan but children too. Like, this family was a piece of work, and it seemed like all the men in the family had the same type of fucking mindset. Like, that is just crazy to me. It's insane. Control the narrative, control it, control. All of them suffer from control, and you all see what happens when they lost that illusion that they were in control of anything. They got themselves out of here. It's just bad that they took everybody else with them. It's bad that Susan has never been found and her family couldn't lay her to rest properly, if her life was taken. And I'm sure that her life was taken because Susan seemed like a mother who would not ever be separated from her kids. The only way that she could be separated from her kids is through death. She made sure that she left everything for her children. She made out her own paper will that was in her own words what she wanted to be done with her items and stuff. She knew that her life was in danger, whether it was from her husband or even from the father-in-law. The bad thing about it is like those poor kids, those poor kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, I know how I feel about children. Yeah, I know how I feel when children get hurt. That hurts, man. That really hurts. That really hurts. It's like, how shameful are you? Shameful, devilish in every single way. Every single way. So your children couldn't have a good life. They had to go with you too, right? What did your children do to you that they wasn't able to live their life and have parents that can actually take care of them and love them and support them, and don't have so much mentally going on? Like, that was a horrible case. It was deep, but it was really horrible and it's scary. And the funny thing about it is that literally probably plays out more than we would like to believe. Stupid things like that, horrible things like that. Those poor children, that poor lady. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Well, guys, listen, I'm gonna let y'all head out. I did have another video, but like I said, this video is going to the one that I have left is going to be very long. It's almost like an hour, and it's already late. It's already late. If I would have started earlier, I would have played it. But now it's too late for that. So I will save that for you guys tomorrow. So go ahead and hit the like button for me. I'm appreciative of anybody who was able to kick it with me on a Wednesday night for this long. Truly appreciate it. Or hit the down button. It still helps the channel nonetheless. And also, shout out to us, right? Wasn't the goal for us to get to 150K subscribers by the end of the year? Where my dear friends and subscribers and viewers, I think that we have achieved our goal. We are right now at 149 and some change. So I think by the end of this year, we will be at 150. So we have completed the goal. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. We did it. We did it. We did it. We set our mind and we achieved. And I appreciate every single one of you guys, every single one of you. I'm going to let y'all go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank y'all so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Shout out to all of y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.